Welcome back, you guys. Today I'm at the Little Black Mountain petroglyph site. I have not been here before, but honestly I feel like a lot of the recent clues, petroglyphs, and different carvings that I've been finding actually might lead to this spot and many other places just like it that might be undiscovered. This place is absolutely amazing, so I've heard there might even be a map that reveals a whole bunch of secrets that are yet to be uncovered. I've been told about this spot by half a dozen people, and I want to thank all of you guys. So many people on TikTok, Instagram, and right here on YouTube have given me so many pieces of advice about where to go, where things are, and this is one of them. I was told about this spot by a friend of mine, and I'm really excited to check it out because he said it's going to blow my mind, and hopefully it does yours too. This is an established place right here, and you notice the U.S. Department of Interior and Bureau of Land Management has a bunch of rules right here about preserving the irreplaceable American heritage and Native American remains that could be in this area. These are culturally and federally protected, and so we're going to abide by the law and make sure that we don't violate any of these amazing places. In fact, if I find any trash, any litter, or anything like that, what I do is clean all of that junk up and leave everything better than I found it. It's a beautiful day today. I'm super excited. This is an established place. I don't even have to carry a backpack today. I can keep it right in the truck right there. In fact, there's an outhouse. There's like a little picnic table. This place is meant to be visited. There's an established walking path right here, and I don't know what this is. Really quick before we get too far into this, I want to say that you guys have made me aware that in the distance of one of my last videos, it looks like there are pyramids. I've gone back and looked and I'm not quite sure, but I definitely want to go check out what looks like eroded, old, worn down pyramids in the distant horizon. So I appreciate you guys keeping your eyes peeled, and stay tuned and subscribe because I'm definitely going to go check those out soon. Last night I watched a documentary called The Mystery of Chaco Canyon, and that show absolutely blew my mind. You guys should totally go check that out if you haven't watched it yet. I saw it on Amazon Prime, and it detailed that a lot of these spiral glyphs that we're finding that go clockwise and counterclockwise line up with solar alignments that have to do with the solar cycles and the lunar cycles of the sun and moon. In fact, they line up so well that the way the rocks are split that cast beams of light almost like lasers on top of the spiral glyphs actually mark the lunar and solar calendars, using the geography and using the construction that they did at Chaco Canyon and all the other sites around there. In fact, spanning over miles and miles, they seem to align with the setting of the sun in the different solstice and the different times of the year. And it's really remarkable to know that these people had this advanced knowledge and they planned their entire civilization and community and different branches of the tribe all over the place based on the solar and lunar alignments. And I wonder if we follow those clues, if it's going to help us find things that haven't been discovered yet. There's always a raven or two at these primitive locations where people used to dwell. The ravens usually lived alongside them, and often that indicates that there could be a cave somewhere. So I wonder, you know, because ravens would go live off of the scraps of the people that lived in the area, and generationally they'll stay in the same region even if the people leave. So a lot of times I follow the ravens and they point the way, but man, look at all these big boulders down here that are perfect for putting carvings and petroglyphs on. So let's go check them out. Here's a whole thing put here by the Bureau of Land Management that says there's over 500 glyphs here that was made by different American Indian groups over an 8,000 year period. So there could be levels and layers of that goes on. If you want to pause your screen and read all about it, now's the time to do it. But check this out. Here is the map of the trails. Question is, do we go left or do we go right? I say, let's go left first. Again, do not touch or rub the glyphs. Acids from the human body destroy. Don't chalk them. Don't try to make plaster casts. Don't do anything. Don't climb on them. Don't do anything other than pick up the litter and leave it just as good as you found it, if not better. Immediately, right here, there's already a really interesting petroglyph right here. This is going to blow my mind. This is like kid in a candy store for me, looking at all of this around here and wondering 8,000 years ago what was going on and where do they point and where do they lead. I've been told a lot of interesting clues and educated a lot by people about the wavy energy lines and the spirals, and it's really cool to start piecing it all together. Oh wow. Definitely have what looks like sheep or goats right here. I always see these big glyphs like this, or carvings that, man, it's hard to know what they are. This almost looks like an eye or something. But there are going to be petroglyphs all over the place here. Here's what looks like a foot. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 toes? What in the world? Why would they put 6 toes on that foot? There's always so many strange things that don't quite fit with it being totally normal. And even in the documentary that I watched about the mystery of Chaco Canyon, it said that the people that were dwelling in Chaco Canyon, they didn't actually live there. It wasn't like a dwelling site where people actually lived. It was a sacred holy site where supposedly people with immense power, maybe not even people, they could have been star people from the sky, or what they say is ant people that came out of Marble Canyon in the Grand Canyon from the ground, but they had this mystical, magical power, and they ruled over the people from Chaco Canyon out through these entire regions across the state and into Arizona and everything. It blows my mind. Here's some more right here, it looks like. Goat. This looks like he's climbing on the rocks or in some kind of a pen. This might be like a antelope or something running across the desert. Here's a spiral glyph right here on the stone. So it makes you wonder now, is it going, this one looks like it's going counterclockwise like this and then up. And sometimes they had this to do pointing to other locations, so the spiral glyph would have an arrow pointing off to something that where you should go look, or where the next thing is. A lot of people think that this indicates where water is, fresh water, energy portals and different things like that, but all the evidence at Chaco Canyon seems to line up with the solar and lunar cycles as being a means for travel and transportation, so that you can find other locations in the distance that are friendly to you. The Pueblo and the Native American cultures over that 8,000 years that dwelt in this area also had youth initiation ceremonies where they had their teenagers and their youth actually go through like a rite of passage, where they go live in the desert, live in the wilderness, and do certain rituals and ceremonies in order to go through the passage of going from a child into becoming a man. And I'm pretty sure that this was one of the sacred sites where the youth would come and where that was carried out. It's really beautiful and really amazing. We're going to treat that with ultimate respect. Holy smokes, look how this rock right here is just split in two, like it fell off of the hillside, rolled all the way down here, and when it stopped, it just boom, fell in half. It's so cool looking. You really have to keep your eyes peeled when you're looking for this stuff, because you could walk right by this and not notice anything, right? And then suddenly you change your angle and come up and really pay attention, and look at this. It could be like a plant or a handprint. Really difficult to tell or which angle to even look at it from. I could be upside down right now, but you tell me what you think those look like. I don't know. What are those supposed to depict? Oh man, you get down in these locations and it feels like you're in an ancient alien environment, like another planet. Look at this. It looks like some kind of a cave, and then you've got these little holes right here that get full of little shards of pottery and collections, and you realize, oh, this is where a little mouse or a squirrel or something lives and hides and builds like a little house in there. And back up in here, boy, that goes all the way back up in there. I'm not going to put my hand in there though, just so that you can see the difference. This is graffiti This is idiots coming up here thinking they're funny and trying to add, and this is literally just vandalizing, and you can have several $100s, if not thousands of dollars in fines if you do that kind of stuff. It's stupid. This looks like a map. This guy was right that told me about this spot. There's actually a catwalk right here to walk up and take a look at this. Whoa, whoa, check this out. Look at that. Wow. A whole surface right there that totally looks like a timeline of events from left to right. I have no idea how to interpret this, so I'm going to zoom in, you guys, and you guys can tell me what you think. But these lines probably point somewhere off in the horizon. If everything that I've learned means anything, these spirals also have lines coming off of them that point in a direction. See how this spiral goes in a loop and then points off? These all have to do with solar alignments, where different hunting grounds are, watering holes, different things like that. A lot of times the wavy lines, oh my goodness. I mean, that looks like a UFO coming down right in the middle of the screen. Oh, see, I don't know. All of this stuff starts to look like weird extraterrestrial involvement and strangeness to me when you really look at it up close. That looks like depiction of a comet strike, a meteor impact, a craft coming down from the sky, or some sort of an event. I mean, what were they seeing up in the sky that came down? Or maybe it was some sort of an event and it was pointing to that. Okay, and what's interesting is the direction that these glyphs and lines going off of the glyph, especially that one in the center, seem to be pointing is right towards a very mysterious canyon way off in the distance that way that I'm aware of and filmed at before as well. I'm just going to approach this giant boulder to see what's around the base of it to try and get an idea. We always see this, the line with the three arms going up and the circles at the top. Here are some other lined carvings as well. A box right here with some loops on the top. That could be indicating like a basket, or I'm not sure what. We have a swirl or like a serpent line going up, as well as a glyph right there at the top. Okay, let's walk around the base of this and see what we find, and then I'll try to get a better view of the top because it does look like a map. Now, here is also three congruent wavy lines as well right there that are parallel. It has been recommended to me. The native people over 8,000 years, a lot of the time, they were hunting with atlatls, which is basically like a spear with a big arrowhead on the end that you would throw off the end of the stick. And I've actually done this before and trained with them a little bit. And when you throw them through the air, they wobble like this. And so the wobbly lines and the streaky lines that go like this on some of these glyphs could indicate throwing of a spear to hunt an animal, an atlatl. So if you chucked it, it would wobble through the air. And so we'll look when we see these wavy lines, instead of just assuming that they're energy lines or water, we'll see if it actually indicates hunting animals, and if there's a spear or arrow at the end pointing at like a sheep or goat or something like that. So we're trying to piece it together and be accurate to the story. Again, you can tell the graffiti here, the modern stuff, it doesn't have any patina. This you can totally tell as just idiots up here scratching, trying to carve stuff in it, and it looks nothing like the actual authentic petroglyphs. I wonder if over here, sure enough, wow, wow, so cool. Yeah, see, okay, look at this. We've got a wavy line and it's going right towards a sheep. So that could be hunting with the atlatl spear, chucking it, trying to hunt for food. And we've got footprints right there. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 toes. That looks like the ravens in the sky. So that could be a bird. This is like the antelope or longhorn sheep. And this is probably a spear or something being thrown at it. Up there we have another carving as well. I'm not sure what that would represent, but oh, This is an impressive stone right here. I wonder if there's any more. Well, there definitely is, but it's hard to tell. There's some right there. It looks like a line with streaks going up, and then up there as well is the same thing. So on the left and the right, similar glyphs, maybe marking time or different things like that. The legends of Chaco Canyon are the origin of a lot of the ancient aliens theories, and they match with the theories of Anu and the Anunnaki from Sumeria around the same timeline. And the depiction sometimes of these horned figures with energy coming off of them, it's hard to know if they were native tribal dress of the shaman, if it had to do with their religious ceremonies, or if it had to do with the myths of the people that were controlling and in power at Chaco Canyon, which almost seem like they could have been other dimensional beings or extraterrestrials, or people using a different kind of energetic magic on the earth that we don't understand today. It totally looks like a story from left to right. Look at this. It's hard to know. That almost looks like a little family. There's always these depictions of like footprints and different things. This timeline seems to go up like here. Oh man, I don't know. If I was gonna guess, it's like here are people that came up here, moved along this way, and then there was specific events that occurred or meaning to this timeline as it goes along and tells the oral tradition. And along there you've got the signs in the sky, paths of the sun or the moon. This one is going counterclockwise. This one also seems like it's going counterclockwise. That one up there, and then you see how it has these lines going off the top. Be really fascinated to see if those lines actually point in the distance to a place that I've already been, or where other mysteries could be in the distance over there. Just take a good look and let me know what you think. I'm going to zoom in so you can get a good look at all the details. Absolutely beautiful. It blows my mind. I'm just like stunned that how old these are and the way of life. This definitely looks like people upside down with different animals. That looks like a bird and different creatures. These wavy lines right here could be like a river with animals around it. And this whole timeline of events. You can see the older carvings with the patina that looks darker and older underneath, and then the fresh, brighter colored lines on top of that from a newer generation that's been up here. Ah, this is the part that really gets me. I keep coming back here. Look at this. How does that not look like something coming down from the sky, streaking down from the sky? And those carvings right there, those almost look like Spanish or Jesuit or something different. I don't know, I might be wrong. But that right there looks like some sort of a solar event or event in the sky. This looks like something flying through the sky. And that looks like a meteor, comet, or something that came down and landed. It's very mysterious. Look like wavy lines that may point to an arrow. That does look like an arrow pointing at the top in the same direction as these spiroglyphs were pointing. Wow, I'm hearing some loud noise like a helicopter or heavy equipment like mining operation going on in that direction too. Look at this, there's like even black smoke in the distance. Don't you think that's a little bit odd that everywhere that these petroglyphs are pointing off in the horizon, those are military helicopters. No joke, those are like Black Hawks. Look at this. Those are not civilian helicopters. They're flying in formation 2 at a time. There's smoke out there in the desert, and all of the petroglyphs point in that direction. This is directly west, and what's interesting is straight over those mountains If you drove about 2 hours, that's where Area 51 is. That just occurred to me. Everything that I've been seeing at this location points off in the distance, and if you went straight there, you're gonna run into Area 51. And out here in this strange spot where there's nothing, 2 helicopters that looked military just lifted off and flew. What in the world is hiding out here? I can still hear those helicopters flying around in the distance. My word. I haven't been finding a whole lot. They've been in very specific spots pointed. Those helicopters are coming back this way.